What's up, everybody? It's your boy Will's Movie Log coming at you with a review of Barbie, the hit cultural phenomenon by Mattel. It feels weird to credit a toy company as being the author of an intellectual property, and given how much time I spend complaining about what IP has done to modern filmmaking, it is the sort of thing that should activate my gag reflex. But here's the thing. Whether a movie is based on an intellectual property doesn't really matter in and of itself. I'm of the school of thought that art should be viewed on its own terms. Movies should be viewed on their own terms. So I don't think there's ever really an inherent problem with adapting a movie from a comic book or an 80s cult classic or a video game. The big problem with IP filmmaking today is that most big studio movies are adapted from IP because it's a relatively safe way to make the most amount of money. Just look at the percentage of top grossing movies at the box office every year that are IP, and it's hard not to understand why studios wouldn't want to continue to pour money into movies that are a relatively safe bet. Unfortunately, the impulse of studios to pursue the most risk-averse projects is the same impulse that leads studios to pursue those projects in the most risk-averse way. The pursuit of recuperating the largest profit usually neuters these movies of any identifiable identity, because having an identity means taking creative risks that might alienate audiences. A perfect example of this, I think, can be found in what is my favorite movie, my favorite IP movie of the modern era, which is Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049. Villeneuve's identity permeates the entirety of 2049's runtime, but because that made it less palatable to a modern audience, it was a box office bomb. It's a miracle they gave that boy money after what happened with Blade Runner 2049. I mean, it wasn't the biggest box office disaster ever, but you know, the fact that he was able to come around from that and make my favorite movie of 2021, Dune, is a sort of a real stars align kind of moment. This is my very long-winded way of saying that the mere idea of a Barbie movie isn't objectionable, and the fact that Mattel wanted to make as much money on this as possible is incidental. Because at the end of the day, Barbie is a colorful, funny, zany, and surprisingly affecting story of self-discovery. The movie starts off in Barbie Land and stars Margot Robbie, who plays the protagonistic, stereotypical Barbie, who lives in a candy-colored utopia along with UN Barbie, Lockheed Martin Barbie, Officer Barbie, and a host of other girl bosses. At a certain point, Barbie leaves Barbie Land to try and cure her physical ailments, which are being caused by her existential anxieties, which are in turn being caused by the human girl who used to play with her no longer wanting to play with her. So basically, think The Matrix meets Toy Story. At a certain point, after she leaves, all of the Ken dolls take over Barbie Land and force everybody to listen to their Jordan Peterson podcasts. The Barbies respond to this by banding with the humans who created them so that they can take back Barbie Land and help the human girls and women rediscover their childhood selves. I want to start off by addressing some of the criticism that was leveled at this movie for being misandrist or man-hating, because I started off this review by making a very glib comment about the UN and Lockheed Martin Barbies, which even though that was a tongue-in-cheek comment, it does speak to the fact that we're getting a very Hillary Clinton-esque sort of first world view of what a matriarchal utopia would look like. But like, that's kind of the point. And then when the Kens take over, there are a lot of nods to film bros, pickup artistry, mansplaining. What I like about this is that because in Barbie Land everything is artificial, that means that the way that feminism and the patriarchy get represented is very superficial and kind of silly. And I feel like Greta Gerwig wasn't really trying to take a particularly pointed stab at contemporary social issues. I feel like all of this just sort of serves to create a backdrop for this story, this very universal story of self-discovery. This was how I read Barbie, and I thought it did a pretty good job of telling that story. I like how colorful the production design was. I felt like pretty much all of the sort of comedic moments all really landed. I felt like all of the original songs from Dua Lipa and Charli XCX and Nicki Minaj and Billie Eilish and pretty much every big pop star on the planet gave the sense of momentum, this real sort of propulsion. And I thought that the final scene with Ruth Handler, the creator of Barbie, was very affecting. I bookended Barbenheimer with Barbie and was sort of starting to nod off a little bit towards the end, but even through that haze of fatigue, I felt a lot of emotions really stirring up in that scene. All of that being said, I try to rate movies based on the impression that they have made on me and how much time I spend thinking about them over time. And it's been a few months since I've seen Barbie, and I do think that it suffers a little bit from being lesser than the sum of its parts. As much as I enjoyed the experience of watching it in the theater, I don't know if it's really something that's that memorable. And as much as I appreciated its zaniness, its earnestness, its very surprising moments of dark comedy, I just don't know if there's anything about it that's that particularly elevated. I could see Barbie becoming the next Clueless or Mean Girls, the sort of thing that, people are able to just kind of throw on and rewatch endlessly. It could be because Barbie's take on the hero's journey is something that is both too familiar and too loosely structured, or it could be because I'm YouTube film critic Ken, and because of that, this movie is my eternal enemy. But for my money personally, Barbie falls squarely in the solidly good category and gets 3 out of 5 stars. So yeah, that's it. That's my review of Barbie. Please let me know what you think about it. Obviously, like this video, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, comment down below. It took me a little bit of time to really sort through how I felt about this movie. I mean, like I said, I think that there are a lot of individual things I like about it. I think the way it comes together, just kind of, it's good. It's not great. Like I said, it's too loosely structured for me. But I know that a lot of people really love this movie. I know that there are also people who are, probably on the same page as me. So I'm really curious to see what people think about it. So comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. And until then, I will see you next time, where I will be rounding out my review of Barbenheimer. So stay tuned for that, and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.